Apple's iPhone X has one of the best cameras available in a smartphone. But we're barely into 2018, and Samsung has released what they're calling a reimagined camera system in their Galaxy S9 Plus. So let's see how the iPhone X holds up against one of Android's best in a camera shootout. First, let's cover specs. By this point, everyone is familiar with the setup on the iPhone X. It's Apple's best camera system to date and can take impressive photos. But Samsung is the first manufacturer to release a dual aperture system. It switches from f2.4 to f1.5 in low light conditions, and is supposed to help you get the best photo possible regardless of where you're shooting. I'll mention here that I'm testing these cameras the way most people use them, in auto mode. That means straight out of the pocket, using the stock camera app. We also hired Victoria to model for us. Be sure to check out our Instagram. I'm breaking the results into 3 categories: color, clarity, and exposure. We'll be digging deep into each example to see how the cameras are tuned. Now to the testing. The first category is color, and we'll be looking at the white balance and color reproduction of each camera. This first shot of Victoria is a simple one, but makes something very clear. The white balance on the iPhone leans heavy into warmer tones. Not only is her skin a nice golden color compared to the S9, so is everything else. The S9 feels cooler and more muted in comparison, but it's actually more accurate. The street scene gives us similar results, pumping up the warm streetlights in the iPhone X's shot. And that's really what it boils down to in all these examples. Would you rather have a pumped up, warmer version of the world from the iPhone X, or a more muted, slightly cooler version from the S9 Plus? When it comes to photos of Victoria, I almost always prefer the iPhone's images, since Apple adds warmth and life to the shots. I say almost always because there's one photo I still can't get over. Against this colorful wall, the iPhone just goes too far into the unnatural territory, presenting a neon eyesore. Yes, the S9 is cooler, but it's so much more natural. So I'm gonna go with what's more accurate, knowing that I can add warmth and contrast later in Instagram or Photoshop if needed. Now, color preferences are very subjective, but the iPhone pushes warm tones too far too often for my tastes and professional needs. So I'm going to give the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus the edge in color. The next category is clarity. Here we'll look at the sharpness of the photos and how well they stay sharp in dark situations. In this first brightly lit street scene, there doesn't seem to be much of a difference between the two phones. But zooming in reveals subtle nuances. A combination of sharpening and compression results in a jagged jawline in the iPhone's photo. The S9's photo is cleaner, but lacks some of the fine details caught by the iPhone. At this greater distance, the S9 Plus fares a bit better, with the building revealing more detail compared to what the iPhone produced. Looking at the darker spot of the frame, we see that the S9 is still the cleaner shot. This closer capture of Victoria is sharper on the S9 even before we zoom in. And once we do, we see the traditional Samsung over-sharpening on her jeans. Despite that, the S9's photo is still more favorable compared to the iPhone's. Moving to a darker street scene, Samsung opens its aperture to f1.5. Zooming in reveals that the iPhone is still the noisier of the two, but it keeps up with the S9 Plus for now. In an even darker scene, the S9 Plus pulls further away. The iPhone's shot isn't bad, but the S9 Plus is easily one of the best low-light cameras I've ever used. So in most situations, the S9 Plus delivers a cleaner, sharper photo, and the clarity category goes to Samsung. The final category is exposure. This one covers dynamic range and how each camera chooses to expose for a scene. So I'll get this out of the way right now. Each camera did a great job at exposing for complex scenes. Overall, I don't have any punishing notes about missed or odd exposures. But both phones had a habit of blowing out highlights, with the iPhone tending to blow out skin. Bringing up some of the photos we covered earlier, I was very upset with how often the iPhone ruined faces. There were also odd instances where the iPhone's HDR just didn't kick in strong enough, resulting in harsh bright spots. The S9, on the other hand, struggled with the sky. Lost in these shots are any hints of blue skies or clouds. These street shots are less harsh, but still exhibit this problem. This category really comes down to a nitpick, and I'd rather have blown out skies than skin. So the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus takes the exposure category. Now, even though the S9 Plus wins all three categories, it's not by much. If you prefer warmer skin tones and more contrast, then the iPhone X is worth considering. But the S9 Plus has a flatter, cleaner image, which lends itself to more flexibility when editing in your favorite apps and desktop programs. Want to see some more iPhone X testing? Check out the Last Cam Standing series from PC World to see even deeper looks at all the top smartphones.